Well, good afternoon, everybody. Today is the 19th of February, 2024, and it is 1:59 p.m. And I've had a very busy work day today. I have five sessions, five sessions scheduled today. I've got one more left in 2 hours, so I've got four under my belt. And that sounds like a full-time job, doesn't it? Well, sometimes things get packed into one day. Tomorrow I have nothing. I have, I think, one appointment on Wednesday and nothing on Thursday and a bunch on Friday. So, it's still very part-time, I assure you. But some days are like this. But, it gives me a lot of flexibility on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It's like real retirement on those days this week. Dottie and I are headed into town. We need to do a couple things. We need to pick up a couple packages at Moon Mountain. And at some point, we're going to get water again. We got water yesterday at the LTVA. Also, we need to go and pick up a couple of things at RV Lifestyles. My heater, the Empire heater, was fixed, and I'll let you know after I pick it up what they say about it. And I need to buy a very short run of water hose and maybe a filter because I really want to start using LTVA water instead of buying the stuff in town. I'm finally going to give it up and start using water from the LTVA. I'm going to buy an inexpensive filter. And it's a little late in the season for this, but I'll be in good practice for next season. But for the next month, I'm going to use LTVA water. I'm paying for it. Why just pay for water in town, especially since I mentioned I'm not drinking the water? I mean, that's not quite true. I drink it for my coffee, but I basically boil it on the stove before it. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And we are on our way into town. And on the way, we'll take a look at the population of rigs out here in the LTVA. Boy, I'm looking to my left here at La Posa Tyson Wash, and there's not much out here. It's not a lot of rigs. It's kind of ironic because this is the golden time for temperature. It's nice and warm and sunny, and it's just wonderful. And I'm looking to my right. There's not much here either. We'll see the two LTVAs right in town. We'll see how crowded that those two things are. We're going to drive through part of the LTVA West because their dumpster is right near the entrance, and because I have a sticker, I can go and use the services in any LTVA. So if I went to where I'm staying in Posa South, I would have had to backtrack down in there a mile to get to the dumpster. Here, it's probably an eighth of a mile from. So that's why we're going to La Posa West to dump some garbage, some trash. Right, Dottie? Dottie is panting a little bit. Why are you panting? It's cool in here. I think there was a blast of hot air when we first got in, and she's still recovering from that. Little blast of hot air, huh, Dottie? But not now. It's getting cool in here. So I'm coming up on these two LTVAs, and I'm looking left and right. There are rigs out there, but not many, my friends. Well, if you ever wanted to come out here and enjoy the desert life and have it not be crowded in town and lots of open space, this is the, February, mid-February. Come on out, spend a couple weeks here. I love the excitement of January in Quartzsite. But it's the same every year. I'm excited about it when it gets here, and it's excited. There are people everywhere, and the big tent, and vendors, and excitement. And then after a while, I'm ready for it to be over. I'm ready for the people that rush in to make their way elsewhere, and for it to get quiet like this again. Now you can see a few rigs here, but it's generally towards the front entrance is where a lot of people come, and then you look out. I don't know. It doesn't look empty, but it doesn't look real crowded either. And here we are at the dumpster. Beautiful little dog there. That you probably, I don't know whether you could, I don't think you could have seen the dog because my big fat face is in the way. Dottie, I'll be right back. I'm thinking, since I'm connected to you by this Bluetooth thing, that you could hear that wind out there when I was out there throwing the stuff away. It's pretty windy. Can't tell by the picture, but it's windy. So, number one checked off my list, dumping trash. Here you get a look maybe at this guy's dog. See him, a big white dog right in front of us. There he is. I love dogs. Right, Dottie? So I'm looking at the clock, checking the time. I've got 2 hours, a little under 2 hours to be back at the rig and in front of the computer and ready to talk. And then I'll be done for almost 3 days with that one little appointment snuck in there on Wednesday. But 3 days of not much that I have to do. And not that I was going to say so I can do the things I want to do, but I do like counseling. I like doing it. I'd do something else, I think, if I didn't love counseling so much. Counseling, when you enjoy doing it, is you get paid for having conversations with people about stuff that really matters to them. And that's really interesting and fun. It really is. And here we go. You can see it's a pretty short distance from the west LTVA, and across the street is LTVA North. It's a pretty short drive into Quartzsite. And actually, it's a fairly comfortable walk. I mean, you can go in here and go up to the left or to the right here and park, pretty close to Kuhn Street up here where Tyson Wells is. Right up to about here, right here on the left, you can park, and you're right behind the big tent when the big tent's here. The big tent's nothing but a memory now. I'm looking over there. There's just the big open field that I showed you in a couple of weeks. Remember, about a month before they did the big tent, I drove over there, and that guy stopped me and asked me what the heck I was doing. As you get closer and closer to the big tent, there the security gets tighter and tighter for going in there. And we're driving through Tyson Wells now to get over to RV Lifestyles, which is on the other side of town. Now, I could go up here to Main Street and go over, but this is more fun. You get the, oh, we're going to have to wait another light cycle here. That's okay, right, Dottie? We're okay waiting. We're retired. We're semi-retired. Here we go. We got a green arrow. And you can tell the big part of the season's over because I could park on Kuhn Street here just about anywhere. There are parking spaces everywhere. A lot of the vendors that were off behind are not there anymore, but the ones that are sort of here for the whole season are still here, like K&B and the adult daycare, the grocery place. My favorite kitchen place is here. Are they open? Yeah, they're open. They just windy. They got a lot of the fencing. So the kitchen place is here. Pet patio is here. All my favorite places. And the RV park and market center sign there. Iconic sign. Nothing. That's the first sign I think of when I think of Quartzsite is that iconic sign for Tyson Wells. And here the road goes through Tyson Wash, the actual wash. And when we have big rains, this thing turns into a river and you can't drive down here. And a lot of sediment goes over the road and they wait till it dries out. We have equipment that comes and scrapes the sediment off the road and they open it back up pretty quick. And down here on the left is where they have, I'm going to say, the biggest kind of flea market area in town. Let's see what it looks like now, this time of year. Well, I don't see really anything, so maybe I was wrong about where it was. I don't know. Maybe it was bad information. Because where I thought was a giant flea market looks like an RV park now. So if you know why I'm wrong and what the deal is there. Oh, you know what? I think it's up here on the left. Yeah, it's up here on the left. Yeah, there it is. It's just a lot less crowded than it was during the season, but it's still there. Okay, I feel better. I'm anxious to see what they're going to say about my heater. I had ordered an inline filter for $35, and it's not going to be delivered for another almost 2 weeks. I'm going to ask them if they have one and if they think that's a good idea. I'm just concerned that it's dirty enough to contaminate it to the point where the blue pilot light turned orange, and I had to bring it in for service only after buying it, 6 weeks beforehand. It wouldn't make sense that I have to bring it in for service every 6 weeks when I'm using it. So let's see. We'll see what they say. We'll see what they say. And they're right around. All right, so I got the heater back, and what the technician told me was as follows. They said it was dirty and it needed to be cleaned. And I asked the natural question, how could it be dirty after I've only had it for 6 weeks. I bought it December 31st, and I brought it in on the 15th of February. And he said, "Oh, it's not the amount of time that it sat in your place. It's really the amount of time that it was like in the warehouse and around." And it sort of made sense to me because I think about it as I'm driving now. If it got that dirty before I bought it, wouldn't it have been an orange flame when I started? Why would it go from blue to orange? I don't know. But they didn't charge me, and they assured me this is something that should not happen again. And cleaning it. Another guy said, "Hey, I've had mine for 2 years, and I've only cleaned it once." Um, so we'll see. They didn't charge me anything. Very nice, very friendly, and they're pretty much assuring me that um, that this was just an odd thing. I don't know. We'll see. And it makes, I went online and I tried to find other people that said their Empire heater pilot light was turning orange, and I couldn't find a single thing on that. So, and they said something, I made a slight adjustment to some part of it, flame adjustment. I don't know, but we'll see. I'll let you know. I trust them. And I'm thinking they probably don't know 100% what happened here. How it got, one thing for sure, he said it was dirty, and that was the reason it was orange. So we'll just see. Maybe it's because George spends so much time under it with, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about that, George, it's not that George is underneath it on on his little platform eating, but you know what I've been doing? I just realized this. I've been brushing George right under the heater. And how much you want to bet this is my fault? And this is stuff coming off of George that got on the heater. How much you want to bet that's it? We'll see. That just dawned on me. And I've had, just for George is my cat. George is a long hair, and I've had a ton of problems with George's hair matting, and I've had to buy special brushes, and I have to work on George every single day to brush him without hurting him. And I take advantage of it when he gets up there to eat either breakfast or dinner, to do a little bit of brushing and then reward him with the food so he doesn't get so cranky. But guys, it's right under the heater. I mean, right under it. So that would be pretty funny if it was like, this is totally my fault. And that's okay. But that did not dawn on me until just now as I was talking to you. Now, here we're on West Main Street. We went back over the interstate, and we're headed east on West Main Street. Got the other K&B Tool to the left here. The Stagecoach Motel. Why do I care about the Stagecoach Motel? Don't know anything about the motel, but part of it is the Chinese restaurant that I love so much. I've never had a bad meal in that Chinese restaurant. It's very good. Then the Dollar General is on the right here. Then the Big Market Hardware on the right, the only real hardware store in town. And then up here, we're going to make a left on Moon Mountain Avenue, where Moon Mountain Mail is. Welcome to Moon Mountain Mail, Dottie. And here we are. There's a nice, it looks like there's a parking space here. park here or across the street. God forbid, don't park in the Salvation Army next door. They are get very upset about that. All right, I will be right back. Well, no package. It's funny. I went in and I said 10:38, and they go back and they said we didn't have a package for you. And I said I got a notification. Are you sure? Yeah, it was last night. Last night? That doesn't make any sense. So I went out and got my phone, showed them 9:38 p.m. last night. It turns out it was a system error. A notification went out accidentally that was notifying me of a package that I had mailed like a week and a half ago. So it was just an error. It's totally okay. No packages. So I am, guy wants me to go, but there's a bunch of cars coming, buddy. Should have gone. But that was nice of him to do. It's always nice when people are nice to you. Always nice. So I'm going to go to the water station and get some water with, I got a new water hose and a filter, and I am going to fill my 6-gallon jug and put another 6 gallons in. Um, was I through talking about the heater? I think I was. And uh, hopefully it'll stay, I'll fire it up, the flame will be blue, it'll stay blue. But oddly enough, I had put all new, and this is a whole separate system. So the only thing that these two things have in common is the word propane. But my main propane that feeds my refrigerator and my built-in furnace and my stove, I proactively replaced the regulator and all the hoses and everything to kind of an upgraded regulator and everything. And I noticed this morning that the tips of my flame on the stove are all yellow. Same kind of problem, but unrelated to the heater problem, because the heater that I've been talking about is connected to a separate propane supply for my rig, so there's no way the two things could be related. The only thing they have in common is the same vendor fills my tank with propane. So, very odd. And it doesn't seem to really affect my cooking much because most of the flame is blue. And if a flame is not all blue, then the temperature is not as high. Right? Orange is the color signifies a lower temperature, and what you want is blue because that's the high temperature. But what we could do is this continues is I can quickly put my old regulator back in and see if everything turns blue, and that will tell me that the regulator I bought has some kind of air mixture problem. And I guess I could return it. So I just figured out that every time someone sends me a text message, it stops this recording. So that's kind of the mystery. So I'm at Posa South, and I'm heading towards the water station to, and I can't remember where I left off, but I'm here. When I went to RV Lifestyles, I bought a 10-foot water hose and a filter. So I'm decided to cease my feeding quarters into machines and Quartzsite and use the water here. Be a little bit more thrifty. Right, Dottie? I gotta say that along the main road here, it looks, about the same as it has pretty much all season. Um, because there's always a collection of people near the main road. I never really understood that because it's got to be noisier, but I don't know. And then, of course, by the vault toilets, because they have that rule. We were trying to explain it to someone new yesterday, and he wasn't quite computing it. Here's the rule. If you don't have a contained black and gray tank on your rig, and they can tell that by anyone that has a gray or black tank on their rig has, a one of those 4-inch outlets for draining it. And if you have a rig that doesn't have that, you are not allowed to camp more than 500 feet away from a vault toilet. They're not saying you have to use the vault toilet. They're saying that's the rule because of I think the rationale, the BLM, is that if you let people that don't have self-contained black tanks camp anywhere, people tend to dump the stuff on the ground. So I think that's the rationale for the rule, but the camp host does come around. If you're tent camping or car camping and you're not within 500 feet, they will tag you or talk to you or both. Now, sometimes you can get away with if you're like you're car camping and you're with a friend that has like a fully contained unit. You can park next to them and you can just say, "Hey, I use their toilet," and I think that works most of the time. And I've learned a couple of times getting water, you got to be pretty careful about who you get behind because you can get even a pickup truck. You think, oh, they won't take long, and they might have a 60-gallon tank in the back of their pickup that you can't see, and they'll take a pretty long time to fill. But I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I saved $1, and I'll save $1 every time I do this. So I've been charging my e-bike pretty much all day today. Um, Yesterday I went for a ride on it, and I noticed it was going slower and slower and slower. By the time I got back to my rig, it was not moving at all. I'm like, "What? My e-bike's broken!" And I had no memory of when the last time was I charged it, and I went and checked the voltage, a 48 volt, and it was 42.1. Which, if you know anything about batteries, that's dead. That's nothing. You got nothing. There's, there are charts that show, green, yellow, and then at the bottom red, and the low 40s and below, that's red. That means there's nothing left. So I waited until I got good solar today, and I hooked it up, plugged it in, and it's been charging all day. I was coming back from getting water the other day, and I turned right back there to go back to camp, and I got lost. I've been coming out here to the same place for 3 years now, and I still get lost during the day close to camp. Isn't that crazy? you can imagine what it is at night. At night, oh my Lord, you can so easily get lost and turned around at night out here, which is I rarely drive anywhere at night. Um, coming in from 95 to our place, I can pretty much do it, but driving anywhere else in the desert um, at night is just you know what, guys? I screwed this up too a little bit. I know where I am. We're coming into the spot, um, but I should be one wash over to go to my place. But there's a shortcut that I'm aware of right by the clubhouse here that I can scoot through in my truck. I'll end up back at my place. There she is. Do you know who's camped over here? Okay, that was a friend of mine that I just ran into. Very nice lady. Um, that's one of the nice things about getting a little lost. I ran into someone that I knew and got to chat a little bit, which is always nice. And we got back on track, and I see the last exit camp is in sight. And I see my rig. And I have 55 minutes before I have to do my appointment, which is nice. Got plenty of time. There's Jim's rig. I don't think Jim gave me his schedule for this week. I don't think I'm going to see him until next week. He's so booked and busy with all these different things he's doing. What is that? I don't know what that is. I'll go over and look, and I think she's missing something. But here we are, Dottie. We are back at camp, and all we have to do is put that water in there. But first I'll let you out so you can sit in the sun. You got some smudge on your face there. I got it. All right, guys, that is the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Take care.